Hello everyone, welcome to our channel The Biblical Story of Creation. In the previous video, we talked about the lack of consensus on the interpretation of the biblical days. Some argue that they should be counted beginning in the evening, and others that they should be counted from the morning. In today's video, we're going to continue our reflection on the presentation by Professors Luis Saião and Suzy Lee from about 2 months ago, which can be found on YouTube under the title Lesson 1 Theology of Genesis, the wrong questions for Genesis. What we're going to do in the course of this and the other 5 videos is to see how the father of modern science, René Descartes, can help us in our study of the biblical days, especially in discerning the mentions of evening and morning, characteristic of the days in the first week. Let's go to the video.
O dia começa ao contrário, né? Não fala assim, então Deus criou o primeiro dia, apareceu né, a luz, então foi a manhã e foi a noite, né, ou a tarde. Não, ele começa invertido. É interessante isso, isso tem muito fundamento, porque você vê que a primeira coisa que Deus fala é haja luz. Então, o pressuposto que a coisa começa na escuridão, o Espírito de Deus está sobre a face, né, do abismo. Então, há um irromper criativo de Deus aí, e faz todo sentido, isso vai marcar a história, inclusive cultica de Israel, né?
Why does Professor Saião say this? The day begins backwards, inverted. If, on the one hand, what we perceive through our senses is that the days pass in the sequence morning, evening, night, on the other hand, the text presents us with two inversions, incompatible with our perception. The first consists of counting the days starting at night, and the second, counting the evening before the morning. But what happens to this text, anyways? To formulate the problem in accordance with the narrative's development isn't all that hard, so let's get to it. Already on the first day, the text introduces us to the main segments of the day: clarity, light, darkness, darkness, night, evening, and morning. It remains to be seen in what sequence these segments should be ordered, and Calvin seems to provide a good starting point when he says, "We know that the darkness was previous to time, when God added light, that was to enclose the day." In addition to being simple, Calvin's statement is direct and indisputable. Verse 2 informs us that even when the earth was without form and void, darkness already existed and covered the face of the abyss. In verse 3, light is created. In verse 4, light is separated from darkness. And in verse 5, the light is called day, and the darkness night. In other words, in the first week, days were already counted in the sequence night, day. And so we have before us two types of night in relation to the first light day. The first, which was the darkness that existed before the light, and the second, the night that followed the appearance of the light. All we have to do now is find out where evening and morning took place. Very well then, if we agree with Calvin that the first night was the darkness that existed before the light, and if we consider that the light of the first day was entirely crepuscular, because there was no sun to delimit the morning and evening twilights, as we see today as the end of the day, we are left to evaluate the following options. First thing first, I'm already aware that imagining the sequence morning and evening for the brightness of the first day, as we're used to today, doesn't work because the text puts evening before morning. Secondly, another option would be to call the darkness of the first night evening, but it doesn't make sense either, since the darkness that preceded the light was called night, not evening, which more properly means the twilight that ends the day. And not only that, if we put evening in relation to the night that preceded light, the first light day would be without evening. In third place, we must then apply the Hebrew way of counting the days to the creative day, understanding the evening as the end of the first day of light, followed by the night, which in turn would precede the emergence of the morning. But this Hebrew way of counting the days cannot be applied to the days of the first week for several reasons. That night, coming after the first evening, does not belong to the first day, because the night of the first day was the darkness that existed before the light. So that night which came after the first evening must be counted in the second day. And since this evening is the second day, we have some problems, since the morning of the verse 5 would not be counted in the first day either, because it came after the second evening. And if the morning of the verse 5 is from the second day, the first day would be without a morning. And even more seriously, the first day would only be completed with the evening described in verse 8. In other words, the day of light, the object of creation of the first day, would only really exist on the second day. So all we have to do is count the evening before the morning, as Professor Sion suggested. But does that make sense? Is this interpretation compatible with the biblical content? What is the meaning of this inversion? At this point, reflecting about the days of the first week, we could maybe say the same as Descartes said on another occasion. I found myself so lost among so many doubts and errors that it seemed as if, in seeking instruction, didn't reach other profit than to have discovered every time more my own ignorance. Okay, in the next video we're going to talk about the 4 points of the Cartesian method that we're going to adopt when reading the Bible days. It's simple and quick. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Thanks to everyone and hope to see you in the next video. If you like this video, please like and share it, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell for notifications of new videos. And also, don't forget to leave us a comment. May God bless us.